I
So we're in New Dorp Beach, and I'm here with Larry and Lorraine Gonzalez, two Z's, and we're talking about what happened on the night of October 29th, 2012. You want to bring us back to that night, Lorraine?
Okay. We were contemplating staying. I had packed go bags, so to speak, and we took a walk down to the beach and saw that the ocean was coming in on a different angle than it normally comes in, a different direction. So then we decided we were going to go. So we evacuated, went to my sister's house.
Where's your sister?
She's still in the New Dorp area, but she's closer. She's about a mile, 8/10 of a mile away from the water.
All right, so she's by Highland, or the other side?
Yeah, she's 2 blocks below Highland.
All right.
Side.
So, well, like you said, like 3/4 of a mile away from the beach.
Yeah, the water stopped 2 houses away from hers.
Oh boy. So you're there with your kids, and you came back the next day.
And my brother-in-law's parents wound up there too when the water started coming up.
Okay.
Because they lived a block away. There was a bunch of us there.
So what was going through your mind thinking about your house when you're elsewhere?
Nothing really happened to our house during Irene, so I didn't know. I didn't know either way what would happen until our neighbor called us and he said the ocean came up. So I figured it was gone.
And pretty much it is, you know, so I mean, we worked with a crew in your house, and I remember getting a call from Larry like, you know, sorry dude, it was all for nothing, house has to come down. How did that make you feel?
Well, differently at different times. In the beginning, I was very gung-ho, I didn't cry, I'm like, it's just stuff, we're insured, we can get everything, you know, back again, or we'll build a new house. You know, I thought, it's just stuff, let it go, we're all okay. Until we started dealing with the insurance companies and FEMA, and no, we're not going to get anything back. Why insure your house for enough to build it when they only give you a little bit?
So you paid your insurance bills all these years and you didn't get what you were due?
We were overinsured and they didn't even give us enough to build a frame.
So Larry, when you found out that your foundation was cracked and the house has to completely come down, what thoughts are going through your mind?
That it would be, after speaking to a couple of architects, an engineer, all that were hired out of pocket, they all said that it was more cost effective to knock down and rebuild new. So before we got any settlement from the insurance company, we're more thinking that's the way the road's going to go, to find out that we weren't even given enough to do the remediation work, to fix it as it sits. Because to fix it as it sits, it's actually, the repairs will be more than the value of the house.
The repairs would be more than the value of the house?
Will be more than the value of the house.
Jesus.
To fix it as it sits, and then that's not even to bring it up to the new standard codes that they were looking for with the elevation, sprinkler systems, mechanicals brought to the upstairs. So that's actually almost doubling the value of the house to bring everything up to the current codes, when you can knock down, build new for half.
For half.
For about half.
And to rebuild your home, is the money there for it?
No.
Not, I don't have it. It may be there somewhere, somebody's pocket, but it's not where it should be, it's not where it's needed. You know, it's all held up with political nonsense, tape, and Lord knows. By the time people decide what they want to do, they're going to turn around and say it's all gone because we wasted it trying to figure out what to do with it.
So who do you think's responsible for all this?
Whoever's not coming down here. It's somebody in an office sitting behind a desk that's not talking to nobody, that has no clue what's really going on.
I guess I don't know, I have my own feelings about that.
Which are?
I feel that we paid basically the federal government for flood insurance. We had $250,000 in flood insurance, and they want to give us less than $100,000 to redo the whole house.
Hmm.
And so then they didn't pay out on our flood insurance policy, which we paid for. You know, we paid our insurance premiums, blah, blah, you know, to make sure that we could rebuild if anything happened. And then they passed the Sandy bill, because they didn't want to pay out on people's flood insurance, so people need they're going to need aid then from the government, because we need aid like we didn't already pay for the flood insurance. And then you have to go through another elongated process, which we're still on stage 1, by the way, after 3 months of giving them all our paperwork for that. And just to basically beg for your own money back. Because they make you go to another program like you're getting an entitlement fund or something. No, I paid flood insurance. You know what I mean? It's like begging for something. No, I paid for this.
And what about the Build It Back program from 311? I had spoken to them.
I think it's designed just to hire people to do paperwork. We registered in June. We filled out all our application and gave in all our paperwork in July.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go back now every week to make sure that they didn't mess up our paperwork again.
Because they messed it up.
Yeah. They said that, well, first of all, I got laid off, so I had to go change our income.
Mm.
So then, when I went at that point, they said we need to refill out all the paperwork because they changed the paperwork and we both have to sign it because we're both on the deed, whereas I originally only signed it myself.
Okay.
So we refilled out all the paperwork. Then he happened to take the day off to go to the dentist, and he said, let's go to Build It Back. And they said that paperwork wasn't dated, and they said that he gave no proof of citizenship. So originally I had given them our daughter's birth certificate as proof of his citizenship,
right,
because it says where he was born.
Right.
I didn't have his at the moment, and they changed their mind. They said they don't accept that anymore. But they didn't call us and tell us that our application was incomplete or anything. And they said that we hadn't dated the papers, which when we went and they pulled it up on the computer, everything was dated.
So how does all this red tape make you feel taken care of?
Hopeless at this point.
Hopeless.
Basically.
So at the
I'm waiting
end,
for something that's not coming.
you're waiting for something that's not coming. So at the end of the day, what do you need? If you were talking, if there was corporate America sitting right there, and they were listening, and they asked, what do you need? What would you say to them?
Answers.
Yeah.
Answers.
To start with.
Answers. To start with, if you have the proper answers to the questions that are being asked, you know which route to take. Is the funding going to come? Yes?
Yeah.
Then I'll sit, rebuild, and do my house. If the funding's not going to come, let me know so I'm not paying mortgage for a house that's sitting there, unlivable, house shifting on foundation, where I could just give the keys and walk away. You know, let me know what somebody's plan is. You know, if you're going to turn around and be like, well, you beat, we're not going to help you, fine, I know what decisions to make. If the money's going to come and you're going to, or the funding's going to be there for you to rebuild your house, great, I know which decisions to make. Right now, I don't know what decisions to make, and that's actually the part that's pissing me off the most.
No answers from anybody.
No, there's not. You call up and you get questions, and they tell you, oh, be patient, we know how you feel. Oh, patience left 6 months ago, and you don't know how I feel, because you get to go home and sleep in your own bed at night. All right, there's nothing. It's either step up to the plate, do what you're supposed to do, or back off and let somebody else do it.
Tell us that we're on our own.
You're on
I
your
just
own.
want an answer. You know what I mean?
Tell you
us
that you're on
Tell me
your
you're
own.
not. Don't pretend until the elections happen or whatever. Like for each, just tell us you're not going to help us, and we got to do it ourselves. Whatever we need to do.
So this Tuesday we got a new election for New York City mayor. What would you tell our new mayor? Because a lot of people have very negative feelings about what our last mayor did in this aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. What would you tell our new mayor if he really, really cared about his constituents who may or may not vote for him? What would you ask of him?
Pause.